Okay, everybody. I guess I need to check the camera angle. Make sure it looks okay. It's a little off. There we go. Won't say it's perfect, but it'll do. Want to thank everyone for coming to the stream. This is Music and Gear, and on this channel we like reviewing guitars. We review a lot of guitars here. Today we've got a Cort, another Cort. This is the 290 Fat 2, and I'm thinking it's called the Fat 2 because it's got two humbuckers. I'm not sure. The last one was humbucker single. This one right here has a roasted maple neck. Okay. Beautiful guitar. Check that thing out. Beautiful, beautiful guitar. I'm pretty sure the map price on this guitar is $699. So it is getting up there on the price point. I think the other one was $599, so this one's $100 more in humbucker mode. At this time, I want to thank Shenandoah Music in Winchester, Virginia. They kindly loaned me this guitar for this review. Definitely want to say thank you to those guys. Without them, we would not be able to review the guitar. Especially guitars like this, guys, that cost a little bit more money. It's very difficult for smaller channels to buy instruments like this, then turn around and sell them. So it's nice that we have a resource, that allows me to bring these guitars home and do reviews on them. So if you live in the Shenandoah Valley, or even if you don't, reach out to Shenandoah Music in Winchester, Virginia. Give them some love. I get absolutely no commission. I'm not a salesman. But give them some love. That'll show them that they're getting something in return for loaning out these instruments. I guess the first thing we need to do is a spec check. And guys, I was running so far behind, I did not actually have the time to pull up specs. So I'm going to type in Cort 290 Fat 2. And it should come right up. All right, let's look at specs on this guitar. I'm going to switch over to Discord. Not Discord. I always say Discord because I've labeled my computer screen Discord. Kind of strange, I know. Okay, specs. Construction says it's a bolt-on neck. The body material is alder. Top material is flame maple veneer. Scale length is 25.5. Neck material is roasted maple. Neck shape. It's a V-neck. Okay. I was not expecting that. I did notice the neck was a little thicker on the guitar. Neck thickness, 21 to 23 millimeters. Fingerboard, again, it's roasted maple. Now this has a compound radius on this guitar. This one goes from 12 to 15.75. Number of frets is 22. Jumbo frets, nickel silver on this guitar. Inlay, black dots with lumen lay side dots. I did notice that. They're pretty cool. Nut material is a Graphtec. This thing's got some nice specs. Nut width, 42 millimeters. Truss rod is a two-way adjustable with a spoke wheel. Tuning machines are Cort staggered locking tuners. The bridge is the same. It's a CFA3 tremolo. It's just like the last one. This one, pickup configuration is HH. Cort voice tone VTH77 pickup set. I think the VHT77 was also in the bridge of the last one. So it looks like they're using two VH VTH77s. Okay. Control is one volume, one tone, and a 5-way switch. Hardware is chrome. It ships with D'Addario strings. Neck finish is matte. Body finish is gloss. So, colors available. Trans black, violin burst, bright blue burst. So, I'm pretty sure that this particular one is considered the black burst right there. So those are the specs, guys. Now it's our job to kind of go through the guitar and see if those specs actually work out. Now I don't have a 15.75, radius gauge. I think that translates to right around 400 millimeters, if I remember correctly. So I do like the 12, and I like the little flatter neck here. So it should play like it should make the open chording a little easier and then flatten out for your lead work. I do like compound radius necks. I guess the first thing we need to do is just look at the general fit and finish on the guitar. Right here, we're going to start out just like the last one. I'm going to make sure I am muted before I unplug this guitar, guys. We don't want any accidents. Yes, it is muted. And I'm going to switch back. I did get my other monitor up here, but baby steps. Don't have it quite working. The cable didn't show up yet. So, since we have a veneer top, they have put a binding on it, and that binding holds or hides the veneer where you don't see the seam. Okay? We want to look at how well the binding is done on the guitar. On the last one, we did see a couple little glue spots on it. I'm looking at this one. This one's awesome. Now let's look at the edge, see if they taped it off well. It's really good. Now we have a arm carve right here, and the binding follows the arm carve, and it has about a 1/16 of an inch break all the way around the guitar. And it doesn't flare out at the end. It stays 1/16 all the way into this neck pocket. Looking at the neck pocket and the way the binding comes up and into it, it's nicely done. Especially this little transition right here. I like that. On the back of the guitar, we have a belly carve, and it's quite substantial. They've really cut into this one. Then we have our tremolo cover. It appears to be a 1-ply, but it's very thick.
Do they have a left-hand version, and how much is it?
This guitar is $6.99 MAP price, okay? That's not retail, that's MAP. That's where they're supposed to sell it at. But if you look around, I've seen the prices go, in $100 one way or the other. I've seen this one for $5.99, $6.50, $6.99. It really depends on the vendor that you get it from. Exact same with the other one. Seems to be about $100 price difference. Usually on the ones that are under $6.99, it'll say open box or something, display model. But the MAP price on this is $6.99. The other one was $5.99, and that guitar was really nice. I really liked the pickups in that guitar. That was a heck of a guitar. I'm hoping this one turns out to be as good. looking at this cover here. Now this cover goes all the way into this one. Okay. Feeling it? It's about a 32nd of an inch below the body. Every cover. This cover here, it's pretty good. You got 5 screws on this one, 6 screws on that one. Now on the last one, this hole here was way over under the shoulder. And if you look here, it didn't go into that shoulder as bad as the last one. I kind of like this one just a little bit better. The other one would never fail. It just looked a little strange with it bored in right there. I do see a little compound in these holes from polishing the guitar, feeling the screws. Nothing sharp. And they've broken this. This is about a 1/4 inch round over all the way around here. It's got a nice break. Feeling the side of our guitar, checking for chatter marks or sanding errors. None. It's in good shape. Now let's look at our plug here. Now this one does what I see normally. It follows through here and it gets a little flat here on the ends. But it follows the guitar pretty well. And it appears to be tight. Okay, looking at the back, I want to see if I see anything strange as far as the glue lines. And I'm looking at the shine on the guitar. This is a high polished finish. It's like a mirror. There is 0 orange peel in this finish. It is automotive grade. Past that, actually. It's mirror grade. Looking at our top, looking for shift in the veneer. Now for $100 more, you do get a little shift in the top. It is shifting a little bit. I don't know if it'll come up on the camera. It does shift a little bit. So the veneer is probably a little thicker in this guitar versus the one that's $100 cheaper. But looking at it, looking at the reflection, it is just glass smooth. Now this is a Bookmatch top where they take the veneer and cut it in half and fold it over. There is a seam going right through the center. We want to look at the seam and make sure it is in the center of the guitar. And what I usually do is I'll look at the 3 saddles. I'll look at the center break of this saddle and I'll look at see if the Bookmatch is on that. And it is. And it's following straight. Now you're going, well, of course it follows straight. Some of the budget guitars, Firefly is really bad for this. The grain and their Bookmatches kind of are crooked on the guitar because they don't zero out their blanks on the CNC. Firefly is the worst at that. I've seen that more with Firefly than any other company. Leo James, they'll miss center sometimes. It's not quite in the center. This one is dead center. It is tracking properly. Looking at our top routes for our pickups. And you notice this has the big triangle here. If you look back on the Firefly video, we had to modify pickups. So if you don't like the pickups in this guitar, this is a standard pickup route. So you won't have problems or having to modify the guitar and modify your pickups to get them to fit. The routes look really nice. I don't see, what I'm looking for is when the machine traverses over and it comes down on its bore routine, it has to go in and then go into the pocket. If it goes in on the line that it's cutting, it always puts a little divot, okay? So it needs to come in here and then traverse and sweep where it wants to route. And when it's done routing, it needs to sweep out to the clear spot and retract. All your budget guitars, if you look at them, there'll be a sweep mark where it plunges in and it chatters through and it leaves a little mark. I've yet to see a budget guitar that doesn't have that somewhere in the guitar. This one looks really nice. Looking at our route for the bridge, it looks good too. Now, in here, like Ibanez and some of the other companies, they'll put a piece of black felt in here. Cort has chose not to do that. And looking at the finish in there, it's not super smooth. Not near as glass smooth as the top. But I do see finish in it. So it's not painted black. It is the exact same color as the top of the guitar in here. Since we're on pickup routes, let's check our pickups. They snap back into position. Yeah, that's nice. Volume knob. Tone knob. Checking for push. It didn't say push pull, but I want to check it. Now on this guitar, the volume knob feels a little firmer than the tone. They both have a solid, smooth feel though. But the tone knob does move freer. Looking at our 5-way switch. It's got a nice engagement. And believe it or not, there's very little side-to-side playroom in this switch. I think it's a little better than the last one. It's not a 16th. It's got nice side deflection. Feels nice. Feeling our screws. No burrs on the screws. Checking our tremolo. And again, none of the grub screws on this bridge are sticking out past the saddles on the guitar. So let me switch cameras here. So right through here, if we look, all these grub screws are down below the edge of the saddles. It's very nice. Feeling our bar, it's nice and smooth. This is a push-in bar. Now on the side here, we have a little set screw. And you can tighten that to where you have to hit it to smack it out of the way. Or you can make it flop. Okay? And this one's set up, I don't know. It still flops. So if you do flutters and you want to pull it back and you want it to stay, you would need to set the set screw just a little firmer. But you also don't want it to fall out of the guitar. And I know this because I have a Yamaha Pacifica that has the push-in Wilkinson, and that bar falls out. So I need to tighten that little grub screw, okay, to get it so the bar doesn't fall out. And it'll work just as nicely as this one. But you should be able to turn it over and the bar not fall out. So this one's set up properly. And since we're here, I get the lovely job of peeling the sticky stuff.
No fine tuners.
No fine tuners. It's not a locking nut on the guitar. There's no locking nut. Cort does make a guitar with the Godot. I just haven't been able to get my hands on one yet. They make some really nice, guitars that I would like. Super Strat type guitars with locking nuts, and they make a couple. I'm working on it, guys. I want to get one of those too on the channel. They seem like they would be, you know, Ibanez and Jackson killers. They come in at right around $1,200, but the specs that Cort's listing on them, it would rival a $2,000 Ibanez or a $2,000 Jackson. So I'm kind of curious to get one in. This guitar and the last one are definitely targeted to the AZ Ibanezes. That's their target. Instead of you paying $1,200 for the mid-tier Ibanez, they go from about $950 to about $1,250. That's what this guitar is targeted to nail. Okay. I haven't played some of the $2,500 AZs, but I'm sure this guitar again is trying to pull some of that market share as well away from Ibanez. And anyone else that makes a more traditional hot rodded Strat. That's what I think this is kind of marketed as. It's a more traditional Strat with modern specs, like a compound radius fretboard, high output pickups, a nice 2-point bridge, not a 6-point bridge. Okay, so it's got the appointments of a high-end guitar, just like this one comes from the factory with locking tuners. And I can already tell you the tuners are very, very smooth, just like the last guitar. It's nice quality. Now we want to feel our corners of our saddles. All these edges have been broken. There's nothing sharp on the back of the bridge or on top. There's nothing that would snag, okay? This right here, in my opinion, is it difficult to replace a grub screw? No, it's not. It's just when I buy a guitar, I shouldn't have to turn around and buy grub screws, you know, or pull the neck off and put a shim in it so I can increase the height of my saddle so I don't get my hand torn up with grub screws. This is twice in a row. So that means Cort has figured it out. When they build these guitars, they know exactly the hardware that they need, the screws, to do a proper setup on the guitar. Little things like that, you know, it means a lot to me. That's just me. I'm going to try to point out every little thing because everyone sees guitars differently. Someone looks at the fretwork more, someone looks at the pickups more, someone looks at the tremolo, the bar, the hardware, the grub screws, the tuners, you know, it could be anything, the shape of the neck. So I try to go into more detail on every little thing, and hopefully I cross the bridge that you were here to find out about. If not, when we take our break, you can post your question, and we'll come back after break, and I'll address those questions. Going down our neck, feeling our frets. Again, 0 fret sprout. And there are no sharp frets. And again, exactly the same. It's a basic fret dressing. They've just knocked the corners off, and that's all they've done. It's very, very basic fret dressing, but there's nothing sharp. Looking at the top of the fret, it's not a super high polished fret. It has a nice matte finish to it. Let me switch cameras again, and I'll try to get a close-up of that. And then we can look at our lumen inlay dots. So these dots will glow in the dark. It's quite sharp. Going down, feeling our nut. And just like the last guitar, the side of the nut is perfect, but they have not broken the edge on these nuts. The last one was the same way. It's not sharp, but it is a direct corner there. The first time you put strings on it, I would just lightly take some 600 or 1200 and just break that corner edge, and that would disappear. It would also disappear just by doing this, you know, in time. But you could easily just knock that off with a piece of. Is it sharp? Like I said, it's not sharp. It's just it's got a corner. So they haven't really dressed the edge of the nut. Now here we do have a roller string tree. And we have offset. See how this one's just a little taller than that one? It's not much difference, but each tuner gets a little shorter. Just a little shorter. And I love what Cort's doing on their locking tuners. Check out that gnarling. I like that on the last one. And I like these tuners. If I find where Cort offers these tuners, I would be curious to see what they sell them for. Because I do like the tuners. Feeling the back of the neck, they're saying that this is a V-neck. And I kind of feel it. I feel the shoulder go like this on the neck. Feeling the back of the neck, it's very smooth. And there is no scarf joint or shiplap joint. And looking to see if it's a multi-piece, it is not. Now I'm looking, see, here's where you want to look at. Sometimes there'll be a seam right here. That means they're taking a thick piece of maple here and they're adding a little thin piece just to get the headstock. So I'm looking. It is not. It is made out of one solid chunk of maple. A budget guitar companies, Ibanez, Jackson, I've noticed that. The Jackson Virtuoso that I like so much, when you flip the neck over, there's always a stripe right here where they glue a piece on for that beak. And it may look right when you first get it, but as the guitar ages, those two pieces of wood will always age differently. You started seeing that show up, in the 2000s, more past 2010. Now it's really became standard where they're using a lot of scrap to get the headstock. So it's nice that they've done a one piece. As this guitar ages, you won't end up with a funny little discolorization on the piece of wood. It's sharp. Looking at our strap buttons, it's on the center of our horn here, and our strap button on the back. This one is not in the center of the Bookmatch. It is off-centered just a little bit. Looks to be about 1/4 inch. So our Bookmatch is here, and our strap comes back this way just a little bit, so it's not dead center of our center line. Okay, guys, I think that covers the fit and finish. It's done nice. I like this. If this was my guitar, of course, I would do my neck treatment on it. This would only take 5 minutes of my time to treat the back of this neck and make it just next level.
Where was it manufactured?
Indonesia. Now, I know Cort has a plant in China, but Indonesia is their main facility, okay? I'm not too sure which guitars they're making out of their China facility, but I know Cort does have a manufacturing plant in China, but this one's Indonesia. Cort makes a lot of guitars. They're the world's largest guitar manufacturer. You might be surprised what you thought was what you thought is actually a Cort. if you know Jackson, Ibanez, PRS, there's just so many. Fender. I'm not sure if, I think Epiphone's made in China. I'm not sure if that's Cort or Sazmac or however you pronounce that company. I'm not too sure who's doing the Epiphones. But Cort makes a lot of guitars for a lot of different people. Okay, guys, I think what we're going to do next is we're going to weigh the guitar. Now, I know we're weighing, every guitar is a little different. But usually what I've found, you'll be within 7 ounces one way or the other. But everyone will ask, well, what'd the guitar weigh? So let's give it a weight thing here. We're on pound ounces. So we're at 7 pounds, 13 ounces. And we want to change units. So in grams, that's 3,544 grams. It's not super light, but again, it's not super heavy either. My Alex License Les Paul, that was a heavy guitar. My Gibson Explorer, that was like tying cinder blocks around your neck. That guitar weighed like, I think it was like over 12 pounds. It was crazy. All right. What do we want to check next? Let's do pickup readings. And I think we're going to try, let's try our other camera. Let's get all fancy, guys. I do have to switch my wireless feed to get the other camera to work. Okay. That way you get a better idea as what I'm doing. I should really test this before the stream because this battery's been in this for quite some time. Okay, 20 K-ohm. Bridge position. We're at 15.51. Henries and inductance. We're at 6.51. I like that number. That's a good number. Second position. We're at 3.0809. 20 K-ohm. Henries and inductance, 1.31. Third position, which would be both humbuckers, 6.08. Henries and inductance, 2.62. 20 K-ohm in the fourth position is 3.03. Henries and inductance, 1.19. 20 K-ohm is 9.79 in the fifth position. And 3.90 Henries and inductance. So, good numbers. Definitely some copper on the pickups. It means they haven't cheated and overcharged the magnets, which most of your budget guitar companies, well, usually anything under 500 will have overcharged magnets. Okay, let's look at the neck relief on the guitar, and let's check up the setup the way Cort did it. And I'm pretty sure it said it was a 25.5 scale length. Let's set the guitar up here. The neck is almost perfectly straight. Well, I'm going to say it has about 0.5 millimeters of relief. Maybe 0.6. I got to get it just right so I could see the light. Yeah. I'm going to say 0.6, 0.7 actually. 0.6, 0.7 millimeters of relief from the factory. Now let's look at our string action height. Now, depending on which gauge I pull, that's who we're starting with first. It looks like we're going with the guys across the pond first. We're going to do metric. So in the 12th, I'm going to say it's 1.9 low E. I'm going to say like 1.7 on the high E. Let's check imperial and you guys can cross-reference me. It's kind of hard due to parallax in the gauge. So on this guitar we've got 0.07, I'm going to say 0.75. And on the high E, 0.060. So the low E is a little high. I mean, that's right at what we see, 0.065 to 0.075 for factory setups. But it's a little high in relation to the high E. Usually there's only, you know, if the low E is at 0.075, they'll usually set the high E at 0.065 or 0.07. So there is a little bit of discrepancy there, but setup is your preference. It's whatever you like. Okay, I guess what we need to do now is loosen some strings and completely screw up the guitar before we do a demo. Isn't that what you do to your guitars? Completely mess it all up. A little fuzzball there. Let's get some measurements on the neck. Starting out in millimeters, right at our nut. Across the neck we have 42.41. At the 12th, we got 51.99. $56.37 millimeters. In inches, that's 2.2195. And I didn't give you imperial on the other one, so go back and give you imperial. At the 12th, imperial is 2.04. And at the nut, 1.667. Now let's get some thicknesses. Hopefully I got these loose enough to do that. They didn't give me any, when I say any room, might need the assistant to come out. I think I got it like that. I got it. The assistant was coming. So at the first fret, we have 21.49. So we're half a millimeter off. I think it said 21 to 23. And 23.46. At least they're consistent. So it looks like it's about 0.46 millimeters off versus factory spec. Gonna put a little string tension back on it. And no, don't expect me to get it on like I did last time. Got lucky last time. I want to get it semi-close, that way I can stretch into place before we play it. There's a whole step off on the E. The A, I was just a fraction sharp on. And the D, I was a half step off. Close enough. I'm doing that for the purists that are out there, because if you don't do that, then the neck relief changes. And of course, if your neck is not perfectly straight, there's no way that this is going to read accurately. That's a joke. The tool is checking this much area. Unless your neck looks like a banana, this tool is really not going to pick up. Even if I put, you know, 1.5 millimeters of relief in this neck, this tool just isn't large enough to pick up that discrepancy. You're only checking between here and here, okay? If you go from here to here perfectly straight, and you're 1.5 millimeters dip in the center, this tool is not going to pick that up. It's just not enough. The next, if you have a fret rocker, you need to learn how to use your fret rocker properly. What you want to do is you want to set your fret rocker on the guitar, okay? And you want to push on either side of the fret rocker, like this. And you want to see if it moves back and forth. It wants to rock on that center fret. You cannot put your fret rocker on the guitar and do this and check your frets. Because what ends up happening, if this fret is high and you pull across, it's like ice skating. It just slides across the two frets and you never know that it's not touching that one. You literally have to force the tool back and forth. I watch some of these YouTube channels and they're sitting there. I don't know what he's doing or what they're doing. So let's start up here. The last guitar, I think we had 2 frets that they were pretty close, but I think we had 2 frets. I had to go back and look at the review. The guitar didn't do bad. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start right here. I'm going to move the tool back and forth. I'm going to pick the tool up, go directly on the bottom of that string and check it, then check the center, and then check to the next string. Pick it up. And as I work the neck back and forth, I'm going to keep moving that tool like this. I want to double check it. And if you're here live and this is your first time coming into the stream, please put, hey guys, this is my first time in here. If you've watched some of my other reviews that we've recorded, and this is the first time you're here checking out a live review, say something to the guys in the chat. We are all guitar nuts and geeks and nerds here. Plus we're guitar players. But we really like to know what we're buying. Is the product a decent product? Is the company consistent? And that's what we do here. We don't, there is no brand loyalty right here. I'm a PV fan, old PV fan. And I'd probably say my second favorite guitar right now would be either Ibanez or Schecter. Seem to be making products that I really, really like. And that does not mean that I don't like other brands. I just bought a Fender. As long as the guitar is a quality made instrument, I don't care whose name's up there. That Fender was made by this company. So is it a Fender or is it a Cort? My Ibanez's were made by Cort. So maybe I'm a Cort fanboy. All right, right here. 9th fret below the E. There's just a little bit of a rock right there. And below the E, and then between the D and the G. Between the D and the G, it disappears. Now here is where we really don't want it to rock. Right here, because it was rocking here just a little bit. If I move up and it rocks here, or it rocks here, that's bad. We have a low fret. That's why I'm moving back and forth. I want to make sure that that fret is the high fret. And it is. It is a high fret. Just barely high, but it is high. And doing this number would have never picked that up. If I did that, I could probably say Leo James does good fret work. Just saying. I don't think I've ever reviewed one of their guitars that didn't have 5 or 6 bad frets. And that's one of their good ones. This channel is about honesty. I like Leo James. That Monsoon I bought, I loved playing that guitar. It just had horrible fretwork. Right here, we got just a little bit. 14th fret below our B. No one else would call that, but the tool is moving a little bit. And it continues under the E. That really barely rocks. And if it didn't have a dent in the fret, it does now with me dropping my tool on it. The advantage to a recorded view is I can go into squirrel mode. But this also gives you all the opportunity to chat amongst yourselves and talk shop. So you got one spot, and on the 14th fret, okay, two little teeny weeny spots. In reality, I wouldn't mess with it. I would just play this guitar. Neither one of those spots would cause an issue. You would just need to set your neck relief and your height here and your rake angle of your neck for your particular playing preference. Now, if you're wanting 0.035 on your string action height, you might want to just go through and just double check and fret touch up. You know, I've done that, went through the guitar, and the fret rocker will say everything's right, but you'll still, when you go to these stupid low action heights, you still may have to go in there and touch up a fret here and there just due to the way the string resonates and vibrates, okay? That this is just one way of checking the instrument. And again, it's only checking this much area. If we go through and we mark these, I'm getting ready to order a tool that's going to help us do a broader inspection. And we can calibrate the tool, and we can actually go to a thousandths of an inch across every fret. You'll start to see discrepancies, okay, as you go down the fretboard. The fret rocker does a good job for general stuff. That's why you'll still sometimes have to come back and just touch up a fret, because you might go right here and there's just a little buzz. Okay, it may not necessarily be this fret. It could be somewhere back up in here, depending on how the string resonates. Sometimes you can kick the neck or raise the saddle here or change here. There's so many different ways to approach it, but this neck is good. I don't think you could really ask for any better than that at this price point. It's a good fretwork. Again, it's a basic fret dressing, but they've done what's important. The frets are level. So I would much rather have this than a ball-ended fret that hangs up the strings and they're out of level, if that makes sense. Let me get a cup of coffee. And this is my motto, guys. And I am upset because I do not have my Music and Gear coffee cup. Go check out the main page. We do have hats, coffee cups, water bottles, and a t-shirt. And I'm trying to figure out how to remove the black background.
And stickers.
And stickers. I want to order some stickers. I think the stickers look cool. So go check out the main page. Got some merch you guys seem to be interested in. I am working out the t-shirt thing. So if the black square is irritating you, just hold off. I will figure out how to eliminate that to where it's just a stitched or a screen print Music and Gear with the YouTube play button. I am working on that. Okay, what do we need to do next? I think we just need to check the neck measurements. So I think it was 16. That's a 7.25. I know it's not that. 9.5. Last time I got lucky, it was right on top. Here's a 15. So there's a 17, 16, and a 12. So it should be like 15.75 and 12 at the top. So let's look at our 12. These are the Stumac gauges. It's worse than running your fingers down a chalkboard, isn't it? And the top is definitely a 12. Since this is a compound radius, I really can't go through and check through here to check for sanding errors because the radius is changing. So let's check the bottom. This is a 16. Yeah. Just a little bit of a crack on either side. I mean, it basically fits. And a little bit of a crack in the, yeah. We're gonna say their spec is correct. I am gonna look for a, that seems to be pretty consistent, a millimeter set of these, because it seems like that 400 millimeter 15.75 is pretty common. So we're gonna say we're golden on that. Are we missing anything? We need to look at the electronics, don't we? Because you guys want to know what's in here. Let's look at our electronics and check out our routes. First thing we want to do, we want to take this off. I'm going to switch cameras so you guys get a little bit better view. Okay. A little bit better view of the guitar here. Playing around with this guitar, I like the smooth feel that both these Corts had from the factory. It's a much smoother feel than a Floyd Rose. And last screw. And there's our cover plate. Looking at our route, there is some white in here from the compound. And I see a traverse mark here and here, and here, and here. So this rabbit shoulder was done in two sections. So they've got this section here, because I can see where the tool come over right there. I can see where it come in there. That creates that rabbit. And then there's a second rabbit here. And I'm assuming that what it did is it come in and did this, and then the machine come up and hit this. Then it did this route, and then for whatever reason that would be the only explanation for that right there. And this bottom route is perpendicular to the guitar, parallel, sorry. So there's no angle. Looking at our ground wire, that looks nice. The screw heads aren't tore up. And again, we've got that nice machined block. So pick that up. Pretty sharp. Now let's take the other one apart. I like extra screws. Just takes longer to take it apart. I'm kind of curious if it has a different tone pot, because the tone pot felt a little freer than the volume pot as far as feel. And we have alpha pots. They are dime-sized pots, but they are alpha pots. Oh my gosh, we got a really high quality switch in this. So they're doing some trick wiring here, guys. The white and the red wires coming and bonding into the switch. So our second and fourth position is either dropping a coil and doing phase things. It could be doing anything. I'd have to look at the wiring diagram for this switch. But check out that CLR switch. That's a dual switch. It has pins on both sides. And I'm trying to get in there where you can see the A on the pot. Very nice. Very nice high quality switch. Don't see any step over marks. No step down marks. Just the exact same thing. I see this tool path right here. That could be from where this come over for a clean pass. Looks pretty good. Last thing to check. Now our jack is loose. See that? So from the factory, our jack is a little loose. See how I can spin that? See that? So that would need to be tightened. But looking at our solder joints, they look nice. And this again is a nice part. We will have to return and put some blue Loctite on that and tighten that up. That's why we check. I'm not going to tighten that up until I get the other one started. So our first problem, jack was not tightened. No big deal. I will come back and make sure that that's done. Now on these with these guitars that this plate intersects the other plate, I do want to put both plates in, okay? Because a lot of times, see how that fits pretty snug? If you put this in, it's just shifted enough, it'll prevent this plate or this plate from going in. And I'm not going to tighten them yet. And in case you're new, this is a Japanese industry standard screwdriver. This is a JIS. And if you're having problems stripping screws on your guitars and they're made overseas, that's because they are not Phillips. They are Japanese industry standard screws. Can you use a Phillips? Absolutely. But the JIS fits just a little better. I'm liking this guitar. Nice switch. I would have preferred full-size alpha pots, to be honest with you. It's $6.99 price point. But you've got a $30 switch in this guitar. So, I think I would have paid the extra $10 or $15 to put some full-size pots in it. Are the smaller pots bad? No, they're not bad. It's just a smaller trace. Okay, and the larger pot is a more accurate pot because it has a larger carbon trace. There's more carbon. So it's a more refined product. I use micro pots. My Barnes push-pull pots, they are micro pots. The CTS push-pull is a full-size pot, but the Barnes is not. There we have it, guys. If I missed anything, or you want more information on something, the only thing I think we missed is neck consistency. Again, just like the last one, it's very consistent. The sanding and the finish on the neck is very consistent. And I cannot feel the transition on the two pieces of the roasted maple. That was the only thing I think I missed.
Trucker Bob said, waving from 81, passing by, headed to York, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay, Trucker Bob. Trucker Bob brings us all our stuff. If you know a trucker, say thank you, because without the truck drivers, there wouldn't be anything in the stores. Even though it comes on a boat, it's got to go on a truck. If it comes on a rail, the train track doesn't go to Walmart. It still has to go from the train to a truck to the store. So make sure you say thank you to your truck drivers, because without them, there wouldn't be anything in the store, like I said. They really run America. All right, guys, I think we pretty much did a very thorough look at this guitar. As far as things that I'd like to see, I think I already said it. At $6.99, there's a ton of guitars out there with micro pots. Ibanez, Jackson. Cort is trying to take market share. So it would have been nice to see a full-size pot. At this price point, they are giving you a nice pot. Alpha's a nice pot. And they're giving you a very nice CLR switch. That's a nice switch. I don't think I really see anything that I would change on the guitar, unless it does something weird. The neck is nice. The fretwork is nice. So if we have playability issues, it'll just be setup wise. But the setup on the guitar, it's within spec. I think the high E is a little high. You know, 0.075 is a little high. It's on the high side for, is it as high as I've seen? Absolutely not. But 0.065 to 0.075 is where companies usually set guitars. You know, companies that want to sell guitars. So this one is on the high side. The low E is pretty much right where everyone goes. It's right dead center of where everyone goes. It just seems like the low E's a little on the high side, like they kind of moved it this way a little bit. And again, that's preference. That's not an issue. As far as build quality, this thing is nice. The top on it's nice. The binding's nice. It's got a beautiful finish on the guitar. I mean, and the roasted maple neck on this thing, look at how dark that neck is. And it's one piece of maple. They didn't put a little piece right here. There's no seam. Lumen lay dots. It's a lot of guitar. All right, guys, we're going to take our 5-minute break. I've been talking a lot. When we return, we are going to plug this guitar in. We're going to hear what it sounds like. And yes, I did get to programming the clean and crunch and distortion sound. So this week will be our first attempt at the new setup, all going through our Line 6 stomp and the wing rack. So no more AJ08, no more Yamaha. It's just this and that. Okay? No outboard processing. Okay? I just consolidated everything into the rack. If you don't know, you didn't have to subscribe to chat. I want you to come in. I want you to talk to the other people that are here. We are all guitar nuts. We seriously have a problem. I know I have a problem. When I look around and I see how many guitars, and it doesn't matter. I can buy a guitar, fall in love with it, go to the music store, pick another one up, and then fall in love with that one too. It's a problem. But you know, I'm not overly concerned about fixing it. I love guitars. I love playing music. And that's what this channel is really here to do. We're here to really offset all the other YouTube channels that just plug the guitars in and play them. I want you to have a solid understanding, if you buy this instrument, what to expect. What kind of switch is it? The pickups, the neck, the build, the quality of the instrument, and what it has to offer. That's what the channel's here to do. So we're going to play a little clean, a little crunch, and a little high gain. And I am not the world's best guitar player, but I will try my best to show the guitar in those three sounds, if that makes sense.
Mikey wants to know if you got a new rack. He just noticed it.
No, it's the same rack. What we did is, this used to be the Mackie. Okay, the Mackie is right there now. So if someone is interested in a 1604 that does need a cleaning, that's the only thing wrong with it. If you push the buttons, they come back to life. It just needs a cleaning. I will make you a stupid deal on a VLZ 1604 Pro board. It's been in the rack its whole life. There's not one scratch on it. And an AG08 is up for sale as well. So we're consolidating. So those two pieces of gear will be going either on Reverb or Marketplace. So if you want one of them, you guys get the music and gear discount directly to you. Plus I have to ship it. All right, guys. If you don't know, we take a 5-minute break. That gives you a chance to hit the restroom, get something to drink, get a snack, and when we come back, we're going to plug this thing in and see what it sounds like. And if you would, hit the thumbs up button, go out of the video and back in. When you go out, leave a comment down in the comment section about this guitar. Do you have one? Does your local store sell Cort? And you just like, it's a Cort. Maybe you should go back and play it, okay? Because Cort, they make a lot of guitars for a lot of different companies. Pick one up, play it. You might like it. And that also brings me up. Thank you very, very much to Shenandoah Music in Winchester, Virginia. If you want to purchase this guitar is $6.99 at Shenandoah Music. Okay. They had a what was it, pink one? Is it pink or autumn burst? It's like a pinky orangey color. That one already sold. And they had another humbucker single. That one sold. But I think the one we just reviewed last week is still there, and they have one other one on these models as far as the 280 and the 290. So definitely reach out to them if you're interested. They'll cut you a stupid deal. All right, guys, 5-minute break, and when we come back, we're going to do our demo. I got to see which one it is. I think it's this one. Okay, guys, I am very disappointed in the regulars. We missed a vital step in our inspection as far as factory setup. We did not check the intonation and the first fretted note on the guitar and check our spacing up top. So I am gonna go back a little bit and we're gonna switch cameras to where you can actually see the tuner. I'm not sure if this one will show the tuner. Nope. So it's the other camera. Okay, right there is our tuner. Here I am, and here's the guitar. We did have the strings off the guitar, so this actually gives us an opportunity to retune the guitar again. And I need to move that mic about right there. Now it'll be in the way of that camera, but it's good for this one. So let's bring our E up to tune. I'm just going to go through and do a general tune. The tuning keys on this guitar are butter smooth. Whenever you take the strings and get them that loose for the inspection, you got to play the guitar a little bit. You don't have a locking nut. And this is a floating bridge, so you can pull up and back on the tremolo. So that's why it keeps falling off. As I add pressure, the tremolo comes up a little bit. The ratio on the tuners is also very nice.
Do you find yourself over-tuning just a little bit so you can stretch the strings?
I used to do that. I didn't on this one. I pulled it out of the bag last night and just kind of played it a little bit. But you can do that. You can tune up a half step, you know, play the guitar. Now I get why she did that, because you all could see her right there. There's the Linnell cam. So there's our E. So yeah, I do that. But when I'm installing strings, I always pull on them a little bit. And I'll overtune, usually up a whole step. Okay? And then bring the string back down. But it's still going to stretch. So there's our low E. Let's check our low E on the 12th. And we are sharp. Now this tuner is very, very accurate. But the low E is sharp on the 12th. Let's check our first fretted note.
Oh, and you never checked the nut cut.
Well, we did on the last guitar. So we're going to check it on this one. And by the looks of the swing here, see how our 12th is? See, our F is spinning a little quicker. So if I fret past the second and I touch here, there is a little bit of room to bring the E down a little bit. Now you don't want to do that yet, okay? If I cut this nut at the string action height that we have right now, and then I lower my action height, I'm going to be too low. So I want to either lower my saddles, which in this case I would, because I want that space that we have on our bridge right here. Okay? See how our bridge is parallel to the body? So that is set up properly. You want this parallel to the guitar body. See how that is? So that setup is correct. By lowering the whole bridge down, you're going to decrease how much pull-up you have on the bridge. We do have plenty of room with these grub screws to lower this saddle down. So I would get my action height where I want it, and then I would double check it. But at this action height, if you wanted to leave it at this action height, there is a little bit of room there to adjust the E. And we can see that in our tuning. There's our E on the 12th. You can see the rotation. Now if I go first fretted note, you can see the rotation's just a fraction quicker. Let's go to our A on the 12th. Again, it's sharp, but I'm looking at the consistency. See the rotation? See the rotation? The rotation is consistent. First fretted note. Again, just a little sharp. And there's a little bit of playroom there as well. Not as much as the E. There's our D. D on the 12th. That's spot on, just falling just barely, but it's spot on. First fretted note. And our D sharp is just barely sharp. So checking it, there's a little bit of playroom there. So at this action height, if you cut this nut down just a little bit, that's going to bring this. I'm going to say the D sharp would be almost perfect. There's our G. G on the 12th. You can see we're sharp. First fretted note. Very consistent. I think if you move the saddle and you got that in, your note would probably be very close. And again, it's about the same. There's a little bit of room there to adjust the nut at this action height. If you lowered it, you would definitely want to cut the nut if you wanted a lower action height. B is just a fraction sharp, but it's pretty much spot on. And our C is just a fraction sharp. I mean, guys, that's actually really, really good. I can change that just by the way I fret it. E on the 12th, high E. Just a fraction sharp. And our F is a fraction sharp. Again, you could definitely lower the cut on the nut just a little bit. But I want everyone to know you want to get your action height and this stuff set where you want it to be, okay? When you lower this down, okay, it is going to affect the action height a little bit, okay? But if we cut it now and then we lower it, you could end up being too low over here and you'll get fret buzz. Okay, so you want to make sure that you know what you like before you start cutting into your nut. You can only remove material. Once you take too much out, there's some tricks to, with CA glue and baking powder and baking soda. But usually you're going to be replacing the nut, okay? So make sure that you're at your preferred action height and then make this adjustment as far as your nut. But on the factory setup side, I'm going to say it's pretty decent. Okay, I'm going to attempt to move this cabinet out of the way. We got the Cocoa Fairy coming in. Break just isn't long enough. Okay, I'm going to spin this mic around here. And I've got a cord in the way. Okay, guys, I'm going to fire up the line 6. Let me get to the line 6. Let's check our volume. Quite loud, isn't it? Okay, guys, again, if you're just tuning in, please go back and watch the rest. We did a very detailed review on this guitar, and we do that for one reason, because you work hard for your money, and if you're purchasing a guitar, you need to see more than some YouTuber jamming on it and telling you it's great. You need to know what you're buying. Is it a quality instrument? I believe this is a very nice guitar. It is well crafted. If it sounds good, then it's going to be 100%. The craftsmanship on this guitar is wonderful. I mean, I may have to buy, well, I am going to buy a Cort. They've impressed me that much. Listen to that. That's a wonderful sound. Still think I'm a little loud. Let me take a little bit of that out. All right, we're going to start out in our bridge position. Let's see how ice picky it becomes. Actually, not bad. So what we want to do first, we want to see how linear are the pots. You know, do they work and respond properly? All the way to the base. So it's a most likely an audio taper pot. And something else, if you listen, see how bright that is? Notice it isn't as bright. We know that because if you look back in the video, we did not see a tone bleed circuit on the guitar. So as you roll down the volume, you're going to get a little less bright signal. It's going to be a little like you're rolling down the tone. Nice. Let's check our tone circuit. So we're going to go all the way up on our volume. So it gets kind of dark. That's all the way down. But it's doing something across the whole travel of the pipe. And I see that, I'm not going to throw budget guitars under the bus. I see that in a lot of guitars, whether it's a $1,500 guitar, a $900 guitar, or $200 budget guitar. It seems to be kind of hit and miss. Some of these guitars, it's like everything is right at the beginning, and then it does nothing. Or it does nothing at the beginning, and then at the very end, it just kind of whoop, and the tone. This is very, even though, don't be confused. Don't say, oh, I'm going to get a linear taper pot. I'm going to say that they're very linear, but in reality, this is most likely an audio taper pot. An audio taper pot is very consistent all the way through, even though a linear taper has a swoop to it. Now, some will do this, some do this. So be careful what you're buying if you're buying potentiometers. There are different versions. It's spanky. Let's go up to our second position. And you can instantly hear we have a volume change. So that CLR switch has two sides where you solder to it. I'm going to say that it's probably these two center coils right here. It's quite spanky.
What size strings are those?
I think these are 10 to 46s, Diodario, from the factory. I'm pretty sure that's what the spec said. So this is our third position. You can hear our volume did come back. it makes you want to play it. Here's our fourth position. Let's see if we got a volume drop again. Yes, we did. Let me do a little bit of an adjustment there. Give it a little bit. It's got a great sound. Let's go up to our fifth position. I like it. It's quite spanky. It's got some really. It's got a lot of nice sounds to it. Let's go up to our dirt channel. And that is way too loud. Still think I'm a little too loud.
Have you ever thought about running the sounds through a spectrum analyzer dry?
We can. I have one right here. That's the Alesis MEQ. It does have a spectrum analyzer. There's a lot of things. I mean, like this is a 31 band. It's going to show differences in your chording and stuff. I have a spectrum analyzer in the wing. And it is nice to EQ things, but to look at it and get a feel for the tone that you're going to get, I think a spectrum analyzer can really help you like determine where your harmonics are. you can punch those up, but unless you have an EQ that can get in between and really separate those, you know, it's a tool. We used a spectrum analyzer to do what most sound engineers, this is a common debate, depending on who you talk to, okay? No room is correct. So if you have a correct signal, okay, and you put it out in the room and the draperies absorb X and then it bounces off of this and you end up with an incorrect to your ears because certain frequencies are being absorbed, but your signal is correct. So how do you fix it? Well, you get a spectrum analyzer, you analyze the room with pink noise generator, and you bring all your bands down to where your pink noise generator is perfectly flat. Technically speaking, if you do that when everyone's talking and stuff, the music should be correct to the room. Well, now you not only have an incorrect room, but now you have an incorrect signal. So it's a common debate. Which one do you want to use? Is one better? I always did something in between. I would use this and I'd semi-flatten the pink noise generator generated by the room. And some guys would say you shouldn't do that. It's more important to have a correct signal. So I think it's on whatever way you want to make it work, if that makes sense.
Blue Mox does it to critically check out his pickups and guitars.
Yeah, I could. I mean, you could use an O-scope too to fine tune things. There's so many different ways. What we do here are very basic. Checking the Henrys and the inductance and the K rating of the pickups. That's very basic. And I think I've said it before. Once you get a good pickup, the only real difference in the pickup is its peak or its valley. And they just move that back and forth across the band. So I like this pickup. We'll look at it on your analyzer and you're going to see there's a certain swoop to it. Another pickup, it's going to read basically the same as long as your K and the inductance is close. They'll just shift it. And it's more friendly to this frequency or that, you know, maybe it's 125, maybe it's 250, maybe it's 500 or 2K or 4K. That's why I say pickups are your taste, but you can use an EQ pedal in front and you can push that pickup and make it sound like something else, if that makes sense. And using a spectrum analyzer and an EQ like we did, the little sonic cake we did a review on a couple weeks ago, you know, something like that, you can kind of shape what the front side of your amp sees. So I'm 100% on board with that. I think you can do a lot with it. So here's our crunchy sound. It's got a mean little crunch sound to it too. We're going to cut this back just a little bit more. So let's go up to our second position. Third position. Fourth position. I like that fourth position. Let's try our fifth position. It's got a heck of a sound. All right, guys, you know what time it is. It's time to break out the hairspray. Oh my gosh, what a crazy guy. All right, we're going to turn this back a little bit. I think I knocked it out, guys. That's the beauty of a live review. Strings are definitely stretching. Okay, standard duty that we always do. That way you guys can hear what this guitar sounds like.
Is it?
It's very easy to play. It's natural. It's got a heck of a sound.
Excuse me.
Yes, dear.
What bridge is that?
This is the Cort bridge. I believe they called it the CF3 or something. It is a 2-point non-locking bridge. It seems to be doing rather well. It's very smooth sounding. If I... This thing plays stupid.
Is it staying in tune after using the whammy?
It's out a little bit. That's playing quite aggressively, guys. This thing plays stupid. I can't do any more than that, guys. I mean, it holds tune well. If you're gonna, if I was gonna take this guitar out and really play it and be abusive, which I'm pretty abusive on it, but to do that during a whole set and expect it to hold tune, there's some things that you can do. Okay, we tuned the guitar once during this whole demo section, so that's pretty good. This guitar is fresh out of the box. I would go through, clean out the back of the nut, and I'd put a little bit of that D'Addario nut lube in here, and this guitar would be stupid. It's not going out of tune now, but I really think if you give this guitar just a really good setup, and that's part of the setup, and the setup's good on the guitar from the factory, okay? It really is. It's a good setup. But if you really wanted to abuse, I can feel this tremolo, it would do really well. I love the feel of the tremolo. If you wouldn't have to cut the nut. Just put a little lube in this and just play it. But if this was my guitar, I would put 0.065 on the low E and 0.06. The high E would stay exactly where it is. I would just lower my low E to 0.065. I would take just a little bit of that relief out of the neck, maybe to 0.04 millimeters. Double check my spacing up here, put a little lube in it, and I would take this thing and just play the snot out of it. What I find nice about it is how the and I'm not really trying, it just... It's just got a natural way about it.
How does it balance? And don't forget neck dive test.
The Cort test. Guys, we've got it going on. Where's our little bag? Did we steal our little bag? Cort, we bought a strap.
You had it over there.
Well, we cleaned.
I don't know where you put it.
We actually bought a strap to do the Cort dive test. We may have to wait till the next review because I don't see the Shenandoah music bag. I probably took it downstairs.
It's probably over there on the other side of the...
You think it's over there?
I think so.
We did go out and buy a strap just for that.
On the other side with the stuff on the...
No, I moved all that.
Oh, it's probably downstairs.
Yeah. And I made sure that I bought a vinyl strap for the test, but I took it downstairs. I apologize, guys. Feeling the guitar right here. Again, it's a little on the butt heavy side, but it's natural. When I put it in my lap, that way it wants to go that way. This guitar is not going to have a problem. You know, I can feel it. It's got a natural. It's got a natural way about it. It really does. There's, you know, I can sit here and talk this, but I mean, that's feel. That's how I feel on the guitar. Okay, everyone's going to like something different. I just feel the guitar has a very natural feel to it. The back of the neck, even though it's on the thicker side, I really like it. And I think I like it because it has such a drastic arc right here. And I can put my thumb, it just feels natural when I put it up like that. And then when I'm doing my chords, my thumb's back like that, it feels natural. It's mean sounding, and at the same time, go back and listen to the clean sounds. It's really warm. It's got a lot of sustain. It's a heck of a guitar. If you know the channel, guys, we are here about product information. If you bought a Cort 290 Fat 2, I need you to go down and post a comment. What did you pay for the guitar? How was the experience? Okay. What is it about the guitar that drove you to buy it? Have you found any issues with it? This channel is about product information, and every person that makes a comment that has purchased this guitar, someone in the future is going to read your comment. So if you leave a comment and you say, well, I hate it, it's just a piece of junk, that doesn't help anybody. What does help somebody if you say, I'm not bonding well with the instrument, and these are the reasons why. That's what people need to know. Okay, you are a musician. convey your thoughts of this instrument to other musicians. Help them make a educated decision. If you bought one and you had a similar experience to this one, it come out of the box well set up, it sounds awesome, really no finish flaws whatsoever, need you to comment too. Again, tell me, what is it about the guitar that you bond with? What is it that you like? Is it because it has so many different sounds and it's a good utilitarian guitar to go out and play bars with, play a variety of music? This guitar is really good at that. With my limited clean guitar playing skills, it just sounds really good clean, and it sounds good in crunch. Hopefully that translated over in YouTube. I will go back and rewatch the stream and see what the guitar sounds like. But in my headphones, it sounds stupid good. Like I said, the map price on this guitar is $6.99. So you guys check them out. And again, this is time for me to thank Shenandoah Music in Winchester, Virginia for graciously allowing me to take this beautiful guitar home and jam on it, play on it, inspect it, and give you guys a good review on it. If you guys want a Cort and you live near Shenandoah, or you don't mind them working a deal, maybe they'll ship you one, give them a call. Shenandoah Music, Winchester, Virginia. You know, they will work you a deal. They will. They want your business, especially if you live in the Shenandoah Valley. You need to support your local music stores. You know, I used to never buy a guitar without playing it. Nowadays, it's standard. We buy and then see if we like it. We always went to the store to see if you like the guitar. You can go and it's like candy on the wall. Oh, I like this color. I like this one. Pick it up, you play it, you get to talk to other musicians. Don't get me wrong, guys. I order from Sweetwater and other places too. But I love going to my local store and talking to fellow musicians and being able to pick a guitar up off the wall and jam on it and see what I think of it. My local store will also allow me to make payments, layaways, stuff like that, and they know me. Build that relationship with your local store. You're going to miss them when they're gone. So again, thank you very much to Shenandoah Music in Winchester for allowing us to take it home. And if you haven't already, please go down, hit the thumbs up button, and please subscribe. It takes a tremendous amount of work between Linnell, myself, Steve, the little guy with the blue wrench, or Shield now, Devastator, Shield. Everyone here has a thing that they do for this channel. So say thanks to them, say thanks to Shenandoah, everyone that contributes, super chats, gifts, sending instruments to the channel to be reviewed, or even customers sending me guitars for repairs. It is 100% appreciated, and believe me, it does not go to the point where I take you for granted. I look at every one of you and I'm like, thank you for coming and thank you for supporting the channel. I couldn't do it without you guys, the viewers. So what's that, hun?
Earlier, you got super chat from Mikey and Devastator.
Ooh, thank you very much. Again, guys, that's what really runs the channel. It really does. And it lets me know that I'm still doing content that's relevant. And that's what YouTube is for. If you want to see a particular instrument, put a comment down below. We may have reviewed it. We've got to be hitting close to 80 guitars at this point that we have reviewed on this channel. Everything from $3,000 guitars all the way down to a $105 guitar. And it has been a good mix. We're not all budget and we're not all high end. We try to cover every price point, and every guitar gets the exact same review. Just because it's an inexpensive guitar, notice I'm not saying cheap. Just because it's an inexpensive guitar doesn't mean that we cut corners. We're still going to give that inexpensive guitar the same review this guitar got or the $3,000 guitar got, because someone is working really hard, and when they purchase that instrument, that's hard-earned money, and they want to know what they're getting. And we're really trying to be, well, I don't think we're not trying anymore. I believe we are the best guitar review channel on YouTube. And I ask you guys to kind of let the word out. Go to your local stores, go on Facebook, tell people about this channel, because we really want to grow the community, because you, the viewer, you guys are what makes the community. Your comments, the conversations, the talk. When you look at an instrument like this, you can come back, post, I would do this to it, or I want the different color. All that helps, guys. It really does. And again, thank you very much. We're going to do our 5-minute ending window. That allows everyone to say goodbye. And don't forget, this Saturday, we do the spinning wheel for the Gretsch. So entries on the Gretsch end tonight. Now, that'll be up to Devastator, but usually it's the Thursday before, because he needs time and Linnell needs time to verify that you're publicly subscribed. If they've been emailing you and they haven't been able to verify you yet, it needs to be fixed before tonight. Okay? If you want to enter to win the Gretsch, it's really simple. Go down and hit the thumbs up button. Make sure that you're publicly subscribed so we can see that you're a subscriber. Then go over to Discord, go into the guitar giveaway room and say, yes, I want entered in to win the free guitar. So it's a purple Gretsch. It's an awesome guitar. If you want to check out the review on that guitar, go to the main channel, go to live. It was a live review. Scroll down to where you see the Gretsch. It's a purple Gretsch. It's a full detailed review. You get to hear it. Not only do you get the guitar, but you also get a Gator gig bag. So it's like a $360, $370 by the time you figure taxes. And it's 100% free. It doesn't cost anything to be a subscriber. And the Discord's free as well. So tonight is the cutoff. So I think it's usually 12 o'clock. After 12 o'clock, nobody else can enter. And we do the drawing this coming Saturday. So we'll do the drawing. That'll be one stream. And then we'll come back and we're going to do our quick just gear hangout chat after that. Again, thanks very much for coming and hanging out. If you're new, please subscribe. Please hit the thumbs up button. We're trying to grow the channel. I think we do unique content here. And say hello to everybody to the right of your chat or the bottom, depending on where your chat is. They're good people in here, and we're all open and honest. That's what it's about. We want people that can contribute, that give honest answers and have real world experience on this thing that we spend way too much money on and we're addicted to. At least I am. So if you're addicted to them, leave me a comment. I'm pretty sure if you're here watching this geeky channel, you're addicted to it. All right, guys, thank you very much, and hope to see everyone Saturday night for the guitar giveaway. 5-minute ending chat, and again, thank you if you left a super chat. Head over to Discord, keep the conversation going there. Leave us a comment. Thanks, guys. I got to make sure I hit the right button. I always hit the wrong button. I'm pretty sure it's this one.